and this gives you that competitive edge, how to be better in business. You have to be evaluating and saying, my product was really good, but maybe now it's a bit out of date, and actually I need to upgrade it. It's constantly looking at how can I make my product better from a year-to-year basis.
Hey guys, welcome back, and let's get back to business. I'm Lara. I'm joined with Mike, Karen, and we've got Joe and Ollie behind the camera. So today we are talking about how to become better in business, but before we get into it, as always, if you have been listening for a little while, please do give us a like or a comment or a review on podcast. That would be super helpful, and if you are getting value out of it, which we really hope you are, please do share it with a friend who you also think would enjoy the podcast too. Okay, now let's get into it. Karen, do you want to kick it off?
So as you mentioned, the topic today is going to be how to be better in business. Obviously it's such a massive topic and we only have 20 minutes to cover as much as possible, so we're just going to do a brief outline of all the things that we think are important. Just to kick off, what do you think is the most important thing?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. So when you're creating a business, one of the most important things is your product or your service, what you're looking to sell to the public. I think the number one most important thing is becoming an expert in what you're looking to sell, and to really bring value to your customer. I think that's the number one. That's the number one thing.
Yeah, I mean there is an adage that it's not the best. For example, in the context of books, it's not the best written book, it's the best selling book. So selling is really important, but if you've got any integrity whatsoever, you want to really be producing the best product, the best service that you possibly can. So that means, for example, in our business, we invest a lot of money in trying to get the best equipment in all the different ways, so the laser, the decompression, etc., to put them all together to deliver something that no one else in London, or in the UK for that matter, can deliver. So providing that best possible service is really, really important.
Yeah. And
that makes it easier to sell it as well, because you're 100% behind the product, and you know that there's never that second guessing of saying, oh, maybe there's someone, you're with me now, but actually that guy over the road is a little bit better than us and you should probably be there. It's so much easier to just produce a fantastic product, and one that you believe in and have expertise in, which is really, really important.
I completely agree. I think you need to be really passionate about the product that you're selling, and you need to 100% believe in it. If you're not willing to give that product to your parents, in our context, I would 100% recommend my parents have had the treatment at the clinic. I believe in it that strongly. We know it works. We get results. But if you have a product out there, let's say face cream or something, and you wouldn't really want to give that to a friend or a parent, you don't use it yourself, the likelihood of you being compelling in terms of what you're saying about the product when you're trying to sell it or when you're trying to market it, it's not gonna it's not gonna go down well. Yeah. You're not gonna do well, and I don't think I think you could do well in terms of shifting a couple of units of the product, but long term your heart's just not going to be in it.
Yeah, and that's really important, and product does really come down to it, and becoming an expert and being willing to change as well. So for example, your field of expertise, if you will, you have to train, and this gives you that competitive edge, how to be better in business. You have to be evaluating and saying, my product was really good, but maybe now it's a bit out of date, and actually I need to upgrade it. It's constantly looking at how can I make my product better from a year-to-year basis, and that keeps your competitive edge. So you can't just sit back and rest on your laurels. You have to keep improving, keep training, keep being better, and that's really a very important principle around the product.
Yes.
Constantly be reflecting, getting feedback, and seeing how you can make it better.
True. Another thing is, when you are selling a product, actually knowing what makes your product different, what makes your product unique, and having those ironed out. I've been watching a couple of Dragon's Den episodes recently. They just crop up on my YouTube, and it's more so to do with the figures, I guess, that people tend to trip up. But I just don't know how you could go on TV, and it's probably the nerves, because they probably do know the numbers, but oh god, sometimes it's just so awful. So yeah, absolutely know your USP, know why you believe in it, what makes your product stand out. That's super important.
So is it important to follow or pay attention to trends or pay attention to competitors in that respect?
Well, I think one thing to bear in mind if you are the person is, say you're looking at trends because you want to start out your business, you're not going to be able necessarily to compete with some of the existing people in the space. So for example, when we started the Mayfair Clinic, we got the best bit of equipment we could, but knew that we wanted to get other things. So we executed, we weren't caught in paralysis. And we've discussed this in some of the other podcasts on fear and sacrifice and stuff. And so you do want to look at trends, and you want to pay attention to what other people are doing, and you want to pay attention to, maybe you've got an awareness either through your experience or vicariously through someone else of what's working, and then execute on that. But that status of not having the best product is a temporary one. You should always have that intrinsic drive to produce the best one you can. So yes, pay attention to trends. Yes, look at other people, but don't be caught down by needing the perfect product before you start, because that's how you get to those people where you meet them 20 years down the line and say, oh yeah, for the last 20 years I've been talking about doing this product, and they've never actually done it. So you do have to be willing to actually put out your first steps that may not be perfect. And that is something that we've obviously just discussed quite a lot about being 100% in on the product, but you don't use that as an excuse in the very, very first experimental stages for not actually doing anything at all.
Yeah.
And that's quite an important one, I think. It's something worth noting, especially when it comes to the product and that side of things.
Yeah.
Okay, so becoming an expert and knowing your product inside out, knowing your USP. Basically just knowing your product inside out.
Yeah.
Moving on, what kind of other ideas do you have on becoming better in business?
So kind of falling along sort of the next step is going to be, okay, you've got a great product, you know your product, and you're getting better at it or whatever, or improving it, and you've got to have that vision of where the product is actually going. So there has to be a direction to the business.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it? Where are you going?
Well,
before you get into things like marketing and advertising stuff, you need to know where you're taking that business. There needs to be a direction for the business, and that needs to be thought through.
Yes, your analogy of when you get into a car, you don't just drive your car aimlessly. You actually put a address into the sat nav so you know where you're going, and that's what you need to do with business.
Yeah, you don't get halfway up the M1 and realise you were supposed to be going down to Bedford. Sorry, not Bedford. That would be correct. That'd be a correct example. I was thinking Bournemouth. Sorry. So yeah, we're obviously in London. That'd be the wrong direction. But that's really important. You do have to have a stake in the ground and know what direction you're working to. And then the next big one is, how do you get people to know about your product? Well, if you're already super enthusiastic about your product, you know it's the best or becoming the best, you've got a vision for that. It's how do you get that word out there? You've got to get that word out to people. You've got to become good at that. And there's numerous ways in which you can do that. There's advertising, there's word of mouth, there's marketing, there's branding, and you need to essentially become better, learn, read about ways in which you can attract customers to your great idea.
Yeah, and this is also why it's so important to be passionate about your product, because if you're not, when it comes to actually shouting about it on your own social, on all those various channels, you're not really going to be that motivated to do it. So the more you love the product, believe in the product, you're going to want to scream and shout about it from the rooftops. So that's why that is super important, and learning all those strategies of how to do it, the best methods for your business, is something that's really, really vital, because there will be certain products that you might want to use, different channels for that particular product, which will work better. And when you're going through, when you're investing money, you want to know where your money is best spent. So it might be that a channel will work better for your business compared to another channel, and you'll just need, to go through some trial and error to figure that out.
What channel responds best
to
what marketing message. And the other thing is, being passionate about your product is really important. And at the risk of going off on a slight tangent, you see this in the medical world, whereby we get patients all the time where they say, I saw this surgeon, he's the best surgeon in the country at this particular thing, maybe it's back surgery or hip surgery. And I've had maybe 6 or so patients that week talk about them seeing the best surgeon in the country, and they're all different surgeons. And you get this thing where, you wouldn't go to your surgeon and the assistant or the receptionist is there saying, oh yeah, we've got your surgeon Steve today, and he's mediocre, he does reasonably well. Sometimes it doesn't work out so well, but he's all right, and he'll be doing your spinal surgery today. You'd be like, oh my God, get me out of here. Yeah. They're always, he's the best, he's done it for the Queen. I mean, God knows how many doctors the Queen has, according to the information I get from patients, but he's the doctor for the Queen, he's the best, absolutely fantastic. You have that faith, and they portray that great belief in the product, and you as a customer or as a potential prospect for the surgery or the service get enthused by that degree of confidence that they have in their product, so you do well. And it's the same thing, whatever it is, whether it's a service or whether it's a product, having that belief in your product and help it coming across in your marketing, whatever channel it is, whether it's social or whether it's other advertising modalities, that's really, really important. And in terms of getting better at that, you've got to just really be 100% on the product.
Having said that, don't lie about it. If the Queen has not been to see you, don't say that she has. That's absolutely awful. So yes.
You don't want to misrepresent, because if you misrepresent, that's a really good way to kill your business at some point in the future. Because it'll come out. Just it's not even worth it. Don't do that.
Be true, be authentic, be yourself. When you're starting out, obviously you're not going to have any reviews, you're not going to have much feedback because few people would have bought your product or few people would have come in to see you yet. But as you know, and those are the teething problems of starting a new business, but as you develop and as your business matures, you have more people coming to you, you've got more feedback, and that's what you kind of go off of. You want to give the customer what they're looking for, what they want, and to a point what they need. I think it is slightly different in medical because what they need, they might think they need something, whereas you as the practitioner know 100% no, you need to do this. But at the end of the day, what they want is to get better. So then they will listen to you. But for other products, I think out there, maybe physical products, it might be different.
No, I agree.
When it came to actually learning all of this, how did you do it? Did you? I know, because I know you, that you're consistently reading and listening to anything that can help you. But do you want to talk about that a little bit as to what you actually do in your spare time to adapt the business? Yes,
if you're going to go down a particular pathway, whether it's some sort of branding or some sort of marketing venture, you have to learn about it. So it's no good, getting a Facebook account and just doing marketing on Facebook or whatever it may be. You have to learn about it. So skill up. As a practitioner, you can't just go and start treating people without going to university. You have to do the degree, and then after that, you're competent enough to learn more about how to do the job even better. But you're constantly developing, and people outside of maybe the medical field, and maybe it's less common now, there's always that requirement to do CPD in the medical field, but a lot of people say, I finished school or I finished university or I finished college, I'm not going to learn again. And the point is, if you're a new business person, you don't know about marketing, you don't know about these things. So reading books like that by Seth Godin, The Purple Cow, is a very widely respected book. And Seth Godin, or Godin, however you say his name, it's a purple book, is widely respected as being a very, very clever marketing guy. So reading some of his material to start to get an idea of how you can improve your business. And then from there, you'll have certain avenues. You might think that my product is perfect for this type of marketing avenue, or this marketing avenue, and then you go and learn about how to do that. And that is something that is unique for each individual business. Some businesses, like for example with Dan, there's a lot more person to person. You've got to meet people. You've got to see them face to face. Where it's like a higher ticket item, you actually have to have meetings with people and shake hands. Other products where it's a cheaper product, it's maybe 0 to 20 quid, then you might be okay with just doing more online based approaches. It really depends on what your product is, but you've got to do the research first, skill up, and then you can figure out where you need to really go into detail on. That's really the best way to go. Get a broad understanding and then hone into what's relevant to you.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it on the first podcast that we did, the fact that we did the online training and we invested really heavily into that. This was a good couple of years ago now. But ultimately, there is so much information on the internet. You just have to Google how to...
Or YouTube,
Or YouTube, how to, whatever it is you're looking to find out. And it takes dedication, it takes so much time, it takes so much energy, and then it will also take money.
Yeah.
you could, because then you need to start testing, and that's when you will burn through quite, a significant bit of cash, because you need to test what works for you, what works for your business, and ultimately it just has to be done. It just has to be done.
That's the only way. Start broad and then test, and then once you find what works, going on that, and that's going on it on spend on execution, but also going on education. Learn about that particular avenue as much as you can about that, and go on in that direction. Especially if we're talking about smaller people starting up a smaller business to start with, you don't have a lot of capital, so you have to be the person that knows everything. that's really important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then moving on to the operational side.
I think that bit ties perfectly into the operational, because you need to know as much as you can about as many things, and then sort of my general rule for this, and it's something we've been discussing more recently to a degree, is that know as much as you can about everything of your business, and then figure out what are you good at and that you enjoy, and really focus on that for yourself, and what are you not good at, or you or you don't like doing, and get other people and train them up to learn those particular aspects of things.
Yeah, I think that there might be some people watching that have a business and they're doing everything themselves, but actually getting to the point of hiring people and delegating tasks is extremely useful. Essentially, you've got another person who's able to carry out however many hours a week, however you might employ them part-time for the beginning, but that gives you an additional 8 hours, 16 hours of somebody else's time that could be doing things while you carry on the big picture of the business.
And you need to get them training up on their bits so they can take over from those things.
Yeah, it might be difficult to let go of the control, because you want certain things done a certain way, and when you employ someone, you need to put the faith in that person to be able to do what you've employed them to do. But I think that is a tricky task that probably every single business owner will face when it comes to hiring people, but it's something that's essential.
Yeah, a really good book for that is The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, or Michael E. Gerber, because you can really mess it up. If you just give someone, say, oh yeah, I need you to, I don't know, do all the bookings, and then they're like, okay, and then you come back 6 months later and you're like, I have no bookings, what the hell's going on? Because they haven't been taught how to do it. So there needs to be that, the same way we've talked in part in previous ones about getting a mentorship for you need to be a mentorship for them, so they can skill up to do their job correctly, and then it's slowly do it with less oversight, checking and make sure it's being done correctly, and then off you go. That bit is taken care of so that you can spend those extra hours focusing on the things that really need to be done, in terms of the areas that have the most direct, quick impact on growing the business, and have the most direct long-term impact on growing your business.
Absolutely, but just to make it, I completely agree, just to make it as valuable, I think it's really, really easy then. It's such a fine line. You don't want to micromanage somebody. Yeah. You want to encourage them to bring their ideas to the table, and then actually execute on that person's ideas, to make the team, it needs to be a team effort. Yep. So you want to encourage them to be able to add their own sort of flavour into the pot.
Yeah, no, of course, that's really important.
Cool.
Awesome. Should we round things off?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Summarise what we've been through.
Yes, yeah. So from the beginning, becoming an expert in your field, in your product, knowing your product inside and out, and being able to shout about it, to actually share that knowledge with as many people as possible to get the word out there about your product. Identify the best channel to advertise your product, and that's something to look around and to read around, to investigate how to do. Skill up. If there's something that you're not sure how to execute, then make sure that you're learning about it more, that you're skilling up in the areas that you find interesting as well, to keep you motivated. Continuously learn and adapt your product in response to what you're hearing from your market. Yep. In terms of operational things that you can do, if you do have the ability to hire somebody to delegate tasks down, that's a good way to save time and to gain time during your week. And then also becoming a mentor for your employees, like you would have one for yourself, when it comes to actually getting them to do the best possible job for you, and to have a team effort in all of the things that you want to achieve.
Perfecto. Okay. And then just execution.
Yeah, you got to execute on all that.
Yeah,
that's really important.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Awesome. Well, that's another one done. Another week gone by. Next week again, I'm not sure what we're going through, so that'll be a surprise. Keep you guys on the edge of your seats. So that's awesome. Again, if you've got any questions, any comments, then please do get involved in the discussion. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you can do that in the description section below. Love to hear your feedback on some of the things or challenges you might have had with building your business, or whatever stage you're at, and hopefully we can be a bit more helpful in the comments there. Remember, you can hit the subscribe button as well to stay up to date with these weekly releases. And no matter where you're listening to it, whether it's podcast, YouTube, or one of the other podcast networks, then just make sure you subscribe and stay up to date. Thanks for watching again, guys.
Have a great day. Bye.